It won't make a difference how much you attempt to help someone if they don't have the desire to improve themselves, regardless of how much you try to rescue them. Epictetus held the belief that our responses, and not external circumstances, determine our sentiments. You have always been there for other people, which is a quality that is hard to find these days. Having said that, it is crucial to have the realization that occasionally, despite the fact that you may have the kindest intentions, if a person isn't receptive to change, they just won't, despite the fact that you may give them assistance. Hold on, because if you stay around, this video will offer you some tips on obvious signs that might imply you're walking down a dead end, which you should do before you put your effort into possibly unsolvable circumstances. We'll go over 9 distinct sorts of individuals who, for a variety of reasons, don't want to be assisted and, as a result, often have to figure out how to handle issues on their own. Number 1. People who have covered themselves with their own illusions. Some individuals deceive themselves by telling themselves things that they have completely made up. The admonition of the Stoics, which is to look at ourselves in an honest way and to be authentic, is not followed here. It's the same as trying to cover up issues. Stoics believe that the only way to learn from our errors is to confront them head-on. The primary issue with these individuals is that they put so much stock in their fabricated narratives that they refuse to acknowledge what other people can plainly observe. They don't understand that our thoughts may distort the reality, causing us to see circumstances in accordance with how we feel rather than how they truly are. Most of the time, they do not want to do damage. Rather, they are just caught up in the routine of deceiving themselves. It's possible that it began at an upsetting time in their youth, at which point their urge to belong began to alter their worldview. It's possible that the difficulties forced them to create a comfortable world for themselves. It is difficult to assist them since they have constructed such a strong mental wall. You might attempt to persuade them that the Earth is spherical, but they would likely argue against you using logic that is two-dimensional. Even when you point out the obvious to them, they will still interpret it in a way that supports their position. They need to first acknowledge that their way of thinking is flawed, which is a process that often calls for the assistance of a trained psychologist. This brings to mind the way individuals argue in today's political disputes, when they steadfastly defend their position despite obvious flaws in logic and insist that they are correct, even if they wind up contradicting themselves. Opportunities seekers. A unique and lovely quality in a person is a profound understanding of other people. Stoics advocated having an empathic view of the world and experiencing the feelings of others without passing judgment on them. Be wary, however, of those who would take advantage of your generosity. Some people will abuse your vulnerability by pretending to be your buddy in order to take advantage of you. How can you tell who they are? Keep an eye on what they do. These people often ask for favors on a regular basis, even for tasks that they are capable of doing on their own, but real friends only ask for assistance when it is actually required. Certain individuals have the ability to instill feelings of guilt in others. At first, they could tell you that you are a wonderful buddy and ask if you might help them with anything. It is okay to seek assistance on occasion. Nevertheless, some individuals continually do so, despite the fact that they are capable of providing assistance to themselves. They are not concerned with how much time you have. It's a shame that you have to pitch in and help, even if you didn't want to in the first place. When you refuse, they make you feel guilty for your decision. They will not alter in any way, regardless of how many times you save them. They justify their behavior by saying that someone will always come to their aid. We strongly recommend that you remove yourself from their company and try not to feel guilty about your decision. Keep in mind that the only person you should be concerned about is yourself and the things you've committed to doing. Individuals that are exclusively concerned with themselves There are some individuals who are so focused on themselves that they believe that everything revolves around them. Imagine, for instance, that you are having a conversation with someone about how terrible the traffic has gotten in your city. Someone like them would declare that traffic isn't a problem simply because they haven't experienced any difficulties related to it. When you share something positive with them, like the news that you have a new job, they may try to dampen your excitement by talking about how dissatisfied they are with their own employment situation. It's as if they steal your joy and replace it with their own problems. That's how it feels. From this point on, even if you were starting to become the focus of everyone's attention, your buddy will take control of the conversation. At this point, everything revolves on how they are feeling. It seems as if neither what you believe nor how you feel is of any consequence. Would you continue to support someone who is solely interested in what's best for themselves? If this is the case, how much faith do you have in yourself to convince them to make a change and start caring about others other than themselves? Keep in mind that even if you attempt to assist someone improve, if they don't want to, they won't change no matter what you do. However, if the individuals around you are always putting a negative spin on things, it may be difficult for you to make progress. It's probably for the best if you steer clear of such kinds of folks. People who never acknowledge when they are wrong. These individuals do not want to admit when they were incorrect, which demonstrates that they do not really look at themselves or behave in a humble manner. Stoics and other schools of thought place a high premium on these characteristics as essential for healthy personal development. This kind of individual insists that it is never their fault, even when it clearly is. They can inform you that your misfortune was due to simple bad luck rather than pointing the finger at anybody else. It is of the utmost importance for them to accept responsibility for their mistakes and grow from the experience. These individuals do not give thought to their acts before doing, and they are unaware of the impact that their actions might have on others. They will never point the finger at themselves when things don't go well. Instead, they will point the finger at something or someone else. They are under the false impression that the decisions they make do not have an effect on other people, or even worse, they simply do not care about the outcomes of their actions. The fact of the matter is that it is difficult to assist them because they refuse to acknowledge when they are in the wrong. They are constantly under the impression that it is not their responsibility when anything unfortunate occurs as a result of the choices they make. Quite often you'll hear someone claim, "I didn't do it." It is possible that you are wasting your time if you believe that you can assist these people become better by teaching them humility. They are always able to place the blame on someone else or something else when things don't go their way. You didn't pass the test, did you? It is the fault of the instructor. Accident with a car. They point the finger at the weather. Have a dirty house. It's due of the nature of their work. Is it possible for you to assist someone who won't admit they made a mistake? We believe that it would be wise to take a step back. It is not worth your time to continue attempting to teach them a better path if they continue to fight what you are showing them. They seldom do anything except grumble and sometimes attempt to bring others down with them. It is best to put some space between yourself and the situation while you still can. People that don't prepare for the future. Imagine being unable to stop someone you care about from squandering their talents, and you being unable to do anything about it. When you attempt to tell someone that life's precious moments are passing quickly, but they don't appear to care, it may be difficult. You have faith that they are capable of far more than they give themselves credit for. Although focusing on the pleasures of the present moment is essential to a happy life, this does not negate the need of planning for the future. What we do in the present helps mold who we will become in the future. When we put our innate talents and the knowledge we've gained through experience to work to improve our lives, we experience the purest kind of happiness. Some individuals are only capable of seeing what is immediately in front of them. It's not that they don't have any talents. The problem is that they don't put any thought into how they might put those abilities to use in the future. They are skilled in a wide variety of topics. The most effective strategy to assist them is not to teach them new skills, but rather to encourage them to put what they already know into practice. In many cases, all that is required of them is to act. They are aware of their capabilities and what they are capable of doing. Yet, if they depend on constantly having support and do not act for themselves, it will be difficult for you to inspire development in them. Continuing in this manner prevents them from making any progress. Ancient philosophers were of the opinion that it is beneficial to strive towards living a better life. If this does not occur, then negative sentiments may take over. One of these sentiments is anxiety, which now affects a significant portion of the world's population. Leave a comment below saying, "I want the free eBook," if you're interested in learning how ancient philosophers achieved such high levels of pleasure and success in their lives. Those who are unable to move past life's challenges. Some individuals constantly seem to perceive the glass as being half empty, which is different from the ancient philosophers who valued tranquility and confronting difficult situations with courage and thanks. In order to maintain a mental state of equilibrium, it is essential to be aware of both the positive and negative aspects of life. Even while everyone has terrible days and experiences unpleasant emotions like anger or despair, it's quite another thing to simply focus on the problems and disregard the positive aspects of life. This would just bring more misery into your life and prevent you from appreciating the beauty that exists in the world. There are some people who seem to be experts at concentrating on the negative aspects, and you will finally realize that assisting them is a struggle that you will inevitably lose. It is only natural for you to want to help them when they discuss their problems with you. Nevertheless, it seems like they have a new problem for every response you give them. Their never-ending stream of negative energy has the potential to start rubbing off on you. It's similar to watching the news on television when the majority of the reports focus on negative events. After providing a number of potential solutions, you start to wonder if maybe they are not interested in receiving assistance and instead take pleasure in bringing attention to themselves by venting their frustrations. They could even be dissatisfied if all of their issues disappeared all of a sudden, since they seem to take some satisfaction in having a complicated web of difficulties to discuss. Some individuals constantly appear to be complaining about their problems as if it were the only thing that mattered in their existence. They constantly bring up the fact that they do not have enough money, that they are having troubles with their children, that they are having issues with their relationship, or that they are experiencing dissatisfaction at work. Do you think it's possible to make a significant improvement in the lives of someone who is dissatisfied with every facet of their existence? And do they really want aid from you? It's possible that even trying won't be worth it. If you want to have a happy attitude and maintain your energy level, it's probably best to let them find their own way. We can only hope that with the passage of time, they would become less pessimistic in their outlook. Spend your time and energy on those who really appreciate your guidance and who are motivated to develop instead. If you don't, you run the risk of becoming just as pessimistic as the person you were attempting to assist in the first place. People who believe that nothing they do ever causes a problem. They are quick to criticize others but never take the time to examine their own actions. This runs counter to the notion that we should only concentrate on how we respond to different circumstances rather than the circumstances themselves. When we let our emotions take control of our responses, instead of taking command of them ourselves, we end up feeling confused. How do you assist someone who attributes all of their challenges on the actions of others and is unable to see their own shortcomings? If they are unable to see where they may be making mistakes, They will never make an effort to improve because they will think that they are already the greatest. There are some individuals who never stop pointing the finger at others, either because they are unable to see their own failings or because they just prefer not to. They believe that other people are to blame for their lack of friends. They will claim that excellent food is expensive, even if they aren't eating right themselves. They blame the interviewer for their failure to get employment because they think the interviewer has it in for them. Your best course of action is to step back and allow them to learn from their own experiences as they go through life. They may eventually become aware of the true problems. People who believe that the world should treat them favorably. There are some people who have the mindset that the world should cater to their every whim and want. They believe that just existing makes them extraordinary in and of itself. The Stoic philosophy instructs us to live in harmony with both the natural world and other people. They think that one should have to work for respect and rewards. Although there are others with good intentions who desire to assist these persons in having a new perspective on reality, the majority of the time, these individuals do not see the counsel as being kind. It's possible that they even feel threatened. Some individuals have the misconception that just because they are attractive, other people should cater to their needs. This mentality makes it difficult for those who are attempting to assist others, since they are often taken advantage of in these situations. Even with individuals who have assisted them in the past, some people have the misconception that they are entitled to special treatment if things do not go their way. They give the impression of being wounded and may attempt to manipulate the situation. When they are confronted with the same conduct that they have been displaying, it is typically when they will realize that they need to change. People that do not wish to improve themselves or learn. Stoicism encourages us to have a deeper understanding of ourselves and to strive for continuous growth. However, there are some individuals who don't want to acknowledge their flaws or develop. Instead, they want to remain the same and often place blame on others for their issues. It might be challenging to assist them since they do not pay attention to what you say or follow your suggestions. For instance, Joe is the kind of person who will never confess when he is wrong, even when he is obviously in the wrong. He is never able to accept responsibility for his own actions. Sarah is given input at work on how she might improve her performance, but she chooses to disregard it since she believes that the way she does things is the best way. Mike has a lot of problems in his relationships, but he usually blames it on the fact that he hasn't found the proper person to be with, rather than looking at his own actions. Linda often has trouble making ends meet, but rather than developing a spending plan or saving money, she places the blame on her work for not paying her enough. It is sometimes in everyone's best interest to provide them the freedom to work things out on their own. It is not necessary for you to constantly direct them step by step. Stoicism encourages us to establish solid connections, take responsibility for our actions, and be one with nature. By putting these teachings into practice, we may work toward the goal of leading a life that is meaningful and in harmony with the cosmos. To be successful in this endeavor, having a strong attitude, much as the Stoics did, is necessary. Do you want to learn how? Watch the video that's now playing on the screen. I'll see you again soon.